So what does Israel do? It starts planning exactly as it did in September 1981 to provoke Hamas and then knock it out or radicalize it. The current massacre was planned beginning in March 2007, and in fact the Israeli newspapers frankly admit the only reason Israel entered into the truce in June 2008, and now I'm quoting Haaretz, was the Israeli army needed time to prepare. Once all the pieces were in place, Israel only lacked a pretext. On 4 November, while the American media were riveted on Election Day, Israel broke the ceasefire by killing 7 Palestinian militants on a flimsy excuse that nobody in Israel took seriously. After Hamas predictably resumed its rocket attacks, and now I'm quoting from that official Israeli website, in retaliation, that's their word, Israel went in, provoked Hamas, their words, in retaliation, Hamas then fired rockets, and Israel could embark on yet another murderous invasion in order to foil yet another Palestinian peace offensive. That's the basic picture. And now the question is, what can we do about it? And the truth of the matter is, it's not easy. In Canada, we have to say, it's not easy. The facts are not so complicated. About that, we don't have to worry or concern ourselves. The record is pretty clear. The horror is fairly straightforward. The sheer cowardice of Israel's slaughter is fairly straightforward. Gideon Levy, Israel's main correspondent in the occupied territories, he wrote yesterday, "The fighting in Gaza is war deluxe. Compared with previous wars, it is child's play. Pilots bombing unimpeded as if on practice runs. Tank and artillery soldiers shelling houses and civilians from their armored vehicles. Combat engineering troops destroying entire streets in their ominous protected vehicles without facing serious opposition. A large, broad army is fighting against a helpless population and a weak, ragged organization that has fled the conflict zones and is barely putting up a fight. Bear in mind, just like Hezbollah, they're not in the combat zones. That's not why Israel is bombing indiscriminately those areas. It's to restore the fear of us, the Dahiyya strategy. All this, he says, must be said openly before we begin exulting in our heroism and victory. And this war is also child's play because of its victims. About a third of those killed in Gaza have been children. 330 children killed. Around 1,500 of the 4,500 wounded have been children. History has seen innumerable brutal wars take countless lives. But the horrifying proportion of this war, a third of the dead being children, has not been seen in recent memory. God does not show mercy on the children of Israel, of Gaza's nursery schools, and neither does the Israel Defense Forces. That's how it goes when war is waged in such a densely populated area with a population so blessed with children. About half of Gaza's residents are under 15. No pilot or soldier went to kill children. Not one among them intended to kill children. But it also seems neither did they intend not to kill them. They went to war after the IDF had already killed 1,000 Palestinian children since May 2000. The Israeli public's shocking indifference to these figures is incomprehensible. 1,000 propagandists and apologists cannot excuse this criminal killing. One can blame Hamas for the death of children, but no reasonable person in the world will buy these ludicrous, flawed propagandistic goods in light of the pictures and statistics coming from Gaza. Not one reasonable person Unfortunately, that does not include your government. The only country in the Human Rights Council to veto the resolution or to vote negative on the resolution of the Human Rights Council on the grave violations of human rights in the occupied Palestinian territory was, alas, the only government, Canada's government. I honestly don't understand what happened. Canada used to be regarded as literally the most civilized country on earth. Every year, the United Nations had this quality of life index, and Canada always ranked on top. It was known for its civilized, tolerant society. I remember coming here 25 years ago. I was in Montreal, I think. And I remember Palestinians saying about Canada, he said to me, it's not funding a refugee, but if there's any country on earth I would want to be a refugee, it's Canada.